Welcome to today's session for Microsoft PowerPoint. Today we're going to be focusing on doing the presentation and slides in PowerPoint itself. I'll show you how to do different transitions, how to apply animation to your slides, and also all the different options that you have in PowerPoint itself to be able to use it more correctly. All right. I'm going to start. I'm just going to open the file that we're going to be working on. All right, guys, once again, if you have questions or anything, please make sure that you just raise your hand so that I can see if anybody's asking questions. I will try and answer questions as they come up. So getting straight into it. Now, Microsoft PowerPoint is basically a more advanced feature of Word, all right? So you also use it for Word documents and Excel. You can actually import Excel sheets into your PowerPoint presentations as well, all right? But starting with the basics in PowerPoint itself. The things that's quite different from PowerPoint to Word is the options that you can do transitions. You're on top of the menu where you see transitions and animation in the slideshows itself, all right? So you can use this instead of just having a normal boring document. You can set this up to have animations and slideshows. You can actually get your PowerPoint at the end to show as a video as well. I'll show you all of these options as we go along. All right. So in PowerPoint, firstly, we don't work with pages, we work with slides. All right. So as you can see on my left-hand side on the screen here, I've got two slides. So it's slide 1 and slide 2. You'll see they are numbered as you go along as well. All right. Now in PowerPoint as well, before you just start adding slides to your presentation, you must make sure you know what information it is you want to have on each slide itself. So do you want the slide to just be a heading? Do you want your slide to be content? Do you want to have content with a picture? These are all the different options that you have in PowerPoint. This is called your different layouts of your slides. All right, I'll show you a bit later where the layouts comes in as well. And then we can set up a few slides and go along as we need. All right. So one feature I want to show you in PowerPoint as well is how to find and replace certain things in PowerPoint itself. Let's say you're doing a presentation for one company, you have all of their details on the presentation, but you want to now have the same presentation for a different company. You can just replace the company's name within the presentation without having to replace it individually on each slide. For example, if you look at my first slide here where it says the North Lights, all right? So I've got North Lights on slide 1. If I go to slide 2 as well, you'll see at the bottom there, they'd also show North Lights, all right? So let's say I want this to change. I want this to be, instead of being North Lights, I want it to be something else, all right? So instead of having to go to each slide individually, you can actually do it from one place. And this works the same in Word as well, all right? So for this, I'm going to use on my home menu, right on the right hand side, there's an option that says replace. All right. If you click on the drop down there, you'll see there it says replace fonts. All right. I'm going to say replace. You'll get this little dialog box that comes here to say what you want to find. So this is what you want to get in your document, they say at the moment, and what you want to replace it with. So I'm going to type in, I want to find the word north. I want to replace it with, and there you can type in whatever it is you want to replace it with. So I'm going to say I want to replace it with the Eastern. All right, I'm just using any word that give you examples here. One thing you must make sure that you type it correctly, because if you misspell it, then you have to go back to your thing and find all the misspelled ones and replace with the correct ones as well. So from here you have different options. You can either say find next, where you will then find each word individually, highlight it for you, and you can choose to replace one by one at a time by using the replace function. Otherwise, the other options you have simply just say replace all. Once you click on replace all, it will go through the entire document, give you a thing to say it made how many replacements. At this stage, it made 2 replacements because I only have that twice in my document. As soon as you click on OK, you can close, and now you can see it has changed from North to Eastern Lights on slide 1. If I go to slide 2 as well, you can also see it did change there as well. All right. So this is just how to find and replace words in PowerPoint itself. Now coming to the layout of the document itself. All right. As I said, you different layouts in your slides. This is where you choose what you want your slide to look like. For this, if I have a current slide, for example, I've clicked on slide 1 now. On your home menu, you will see this option which says new slides, reuse slides, and this also option says layout. If I click on the drop down for layout, this is the layouts that you have for your different slides. So you get a title slide, title and content, section header, whatever the case might be that you want it to be. So this is where you must make sure you choose the correct option for what it is you want to do. All right. At this stage, you can see the one that highlights this title and caption. So that is what it is at this stage. Let's say I want to change this just to a title slide. So I can simply click on title slide and you can see how your screen has changed. All right. So it made your heading a bit bigger, more to the middle. The display looks different as well. Still sticking to the same theme that you have. All right. So the same color variant that you have in your presentation as well. Okay. Now, talking about themes and design. All right. You do get different options in PowerPoint as well. So you can have the different slide layouts, but you can also have different designs. Well, this is one thing that I found in assignment, and this is something that they did catch a few students on when they're doing the marking. All right. So they'll tell you in one question to do a few options. So let's say what they're going to tell you. They'll tell you go to your design options. You'll go to your design menu on top. And here's all your different themes that you get. All right. If you click on the drop down there as well, you'll see these are all the different themes that you have in PowerPoint. All right. So they will tell you to choose a certain theme and apply this theme to your presentation. For example, I'm just going to use this one here. This one is called Iron Boardroom. So I click on Iron Boardroom and you can see that all my slides is now changed to a different view. All right. So you can see what it looks like now. So it went from the blue background now to this purple with that little tab on top of each page as well. All right. So this is your design. So you can change your design in PowerPoint itself as well. But now let's say you want to use this theme, but the color doesn't work for what you're working with. For example, doesn't fit in with your company logo or whatever the case might be. You do have different options in changing this as well. This comes now to your variants. So on the same menu on design, you can see this option where it says variants. All right. So if you click on the drop down there next to variants, these are all the different options, styles that you can choose. You can change the color, you can change the font, you can change the effect, you can change the background styles as well. All right. So let's say they tell you you must change your color. So instead of having this purple color, you can choose the color that fits in more with your company representation or whatever it is you want. I'm just going to use blue as my example. All right. And I can see my whole theme has changed to blue. All right. So it's still the same design, the same theme that we changed it to that Iron Boardroom. All right. But we just made it a variant of blue. Okay. So that's your different variants and your different themes. Now, another thing that you can change in PowerPoint as well, depending on where your presentation will be displayed. Will it be displayed on your normal computer screen, which is these nice flash screens? Will it be displayed at a kiosk? Will it be displayed on a more presentation type where you're doing it via a data project or something like that? And this is now where you can change your slide sizes, all right? On the same side, you add design on the design menu. There's option to right at the corner there, the right hand side where it says slide size. If you go to slide size, those are your different sizes that you have. You have standard, which is the more square type of screen, all right, the more older type of screen, or if you're using a data projector, these works better with data projectors as well. But if you're using it on a more modern laptop, where you're just going to use it to display something on your laptop, you can go to widescreen as well. All right, so I'm going to go to widescreen. I just want to show you, well, this is where students got caught in the assignments. Now, as soon as I go to widescreen, you can see my whole presentation has gone wide, so the screen fits in better now. But something that some students didn't notice is that the color goes back to the default of that theme. All right, so when we did this Iron Boardroom theme, it was purple orange like it is now. Now it changed back to purple even after we changed it to a variant of blue. Now you're going to lose marks in your assignments if you don't notice this. Some students think this is what it should look like and they'll leave it like that. Then later on, there's more questions in your assignment that will be linked to the color theme that you won't be able to do because you're on the wrong color scheme. All right. So if you change your slide size and you see your color went back to different size, just go back and change your variant color to whatever it was supposed to be as well. So go and change it back to the blue, whatever one they wanted it to be. All right. So this is one place where students lost marks in the assignments as well, is by not changing the theme back to the color it should be after they changed the slide sizes. Okay. So make a notice of that. Every year they catch students in this particular part. All right. So now I've changed my design, I've changed my color, I've changed the slide size as well. So this is just some of the options you can use in your designs as well. All right, in your presentations. Now, I'm going to go to my second slide here. All right. Now, let's say you're doing a presentation as well, and as you're typing your presentation, you think, all right, but I want to take some of my previous slides or previous presentations that I have, and I want to use them in this presentation as well. So instead of having to opening the old documents, going to that slide, copying the slide, pasting it into your new document, there's an easy way you can do this as well, all right? Microsoft has built an option called reuse slides. Now, if I look on my home menu, all right, I'm on home at this stage, there where it says slides, there's an option that says reuse slides, all right? So it will automatically go to all the PowerPoint presentations. You can simply choose the file you want to work with and import the slides into this document, all right? So you don't have to copy, paste anything. You can simply reuse them from a previous presentation. So to show you how this works, all right. If you want to add them to the end of your document, always make sure you click on the last slide before you insert any new slides or reuse any old slides, all right? Because if I'm on the first slide and I put in slides, will go in between the slides that I have at that stage. So always make sure you're on the last slide if you want them to be at the end, all right? So I'm now going to click on reuse slides on the home menu. You'll see on the right hand side, this option comes up here that says reuse slides. And it will search for all the presentations that you have on your computer, all right? So these are all presentations that I have on my computer. If you don't find them there, you can just use the browse option there as well. So I'm going to click on browse. It will open my documents folder for me. So I know my stuff's under Word and PowerPoint, and here's all the files that I have. So you're going to choose the slide or the presentation that you want that has the slides that you want to reuse. So I'm going to use that one, create a slide. Simply click on it. What it does, it now puts all the slides of that document on your right hand side. So in that particular file, I had 5 slides, as you can see, slide 1, 2, 3, 4, and slide 5. Okay. So now the first option that you see on top as well, there's a little option that says use source formatting with a tick in there, right? So this is if you wanted to stay in the format that it is at this stage, right? But if you wanted to look the same as your current presentation, all right, which is most likely the case you want it to be because you want everything to look the same. So you want everything to look the same, you're going to untick that to make sure that when you import it, it's going to go to the same format that you have at this stage. So it will go to the same design, same color variants, same font, whatever that you're using at this stage. Now to choose the slide you want to insert, simply only go to the slide you want to use. For example, I want to use slide 4, so I simply click on that slide. You can see here on my screen, automatically inserts that slide into my document that I'm working on at this stage. You'll also see the same color variant, same theme applies to the new slide. Let's say I want to use slide 5 as well. I can simply click on slide 5. And it inserts that slide and automatically formats it so it looks like your current documents. All right. So you can see from what it looked like here. All right. On the right hand side here where my mouse is moving, this is what it looked like in that slide. This is what it looks like in your current slide. So you can see where the source formatting comes in. All right, so that's option there where it says use source formatting. All right, if you want it to look the same, make sure that you untick it first so it changes to the same format that you have. All right, once you did all of that and you're finished with the slide you want to insert it, I always tell students just close what you're working on so it's not in your way. All right, this just makes your screen a bit bigger and easier to work on. All right, okay, so now I've got 4 slides in my documents already. Okay, so I'm going to go to my slide 2. All right, on slide 2 here, I've got Easternized. I've got a bunch of bullets down here, all right, with information next. But as you can see, these bullets are all running down in one line. Then all of a sudden you have one bullet going more to the right hand side. All right, so it's been moved inwards. Then I have another one going to the outside again. Okay, this is called your listing level, right? Listing level. This is, for example, anything that goes a bullet that moves inward, it's say that bullet that's been moved inward is actually sub to that. So it's part of your main bullet on top. For example, if this was numbering, it would have been number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And this bullet would have been 4.1. And that would have been bullet number 5. All right. So this comes to your numbering, your listing level. So if you want to change your listing level, this works the same in Microsoft Word as well. So I'm just going to go and edit some of my information. So if you want to edit it, you always just click wherever you want to edit. I'm just going to type some extra information there. So it says best time for viewing will be, all right? So I've typed in the best time for viewing will be. Now the next two bullets should actually be part of that. So that is my main bullet. This is sub bullet to that. So this should have been number 1. This would have been 1.1 and 1.2 if I was working with numbers. All right. So if you want to change your listing level, you simply highlight the bullets or the numbers that you want to change. All right. Where we did the bullets that we did in Word as well. So it's on the home menu, on top of paragraph, there you get bullets and numbers. All right. You can see I'm using bullets at this stage. Next to there you get the options where it says listing level, increase list level or decrease list level. So do you want the bullets to move to the left or do you want bullets to move to the right? I want my bullets to move to the right, so I want to increase my listing level. So I simply click on it and it moves those bullets inward for me. All right, so now my listing level has changed. So if this was numbers, just to explain to you, if this was numbers, originally it was 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it will be bullet number, it would have been 1, 1.1, 1.2, that would have been 2, 2.1, and that one would have been 3. All right. So if you're working with numbers, as soon as you do your listing level, it will automatically adapt the numbers for you and change it for you if that you're numbering using the number option. All right. So that's changing your listing level in PowerPoint. Now, another thing that's quite handy in PowerPoint itself as well is if you're going to be doing a presentation, and let's say this presentation has a lot of information that you have to convey to people. So instead of having to remember everything or having little notes that you have in your hand that you have to go through and speak on, all right, that you read from, you can actually have notes in PowerPoint itself. These are called speaker notes. So when you put in speaker notes into your presentations, little notes that you add onto your presentation that you can get your information from, that you can read from basically, without the people seeing the show having to see those notes as well. All right. So if you want to add speaker notes to your presentation, we'll go to each sheet individually that you want to add notes to. So let's stick to slide 2 for now. At the bottom of PowerPoint, all right at the bottom, I'm going to hold my mouse there so you can see, all right. There it says notes, all right. You all see notes here at the bottom, all right. If you click on notes, you'll see it adds a little toolbar here at the bottom. Here it now shows click to add notes right at the bottom of your screen, all right. So there you can add whatever speaker notes it is you want to add. So let's say I want to add extra information that I want to convey to people when I'm doing a presentation. I can type in there the best time to view the lights will be, let's say March and September, for example, all right. So you can see I've added that little speaker note here at the bottom, all right. So that's a speaker note. You'll see later on, I'm going to show you once we go to the presentation view where this won't show, all right. You won't be able to see this part on the presentation itself. You'll only see it if you're the presenter itself, all right. So this is speaker notes that you add to Microsoft PowerPoint, all right. Now, let's go to slide number 3. So I'm on slide number 3. You have basically just have a little heading. I've got a little paragraph information and a picture. Okay. Now, PowerPoint is all about looks, all right? So it's all about how the presentation will be converted to people. Is it viewable? Is it easy to read? Is it easy for them to make out what it is you're saying? All right. So in here, I've just got a heading and a paragraph. I mean, I've got this whole page. Why should I keep it this small? So let's say I want to change this, make it a bit bigger. So I'm just going to do some word editing on this. So I'm going to highlight my heading. All right. Once you've highlighted this, you can now go and change the font size if you want. And I'm going to change it to size 36. And I'm going to make it center line. All right. Remember alignment? I showed you in Microsoft Word. All right. When you go back to the videos later on, you'll see where I explained how alignment works. Okay. So I've changed this line not to be there. Now I'm going to go to this paragraph of information there. Okay. So I've got this paragraph here. I want now to change this paragraph so it's easier to read and a bit bigger and more clear for people to see as well. So to do this, I'm first going to change my font size. Let's say I'm going to change it to 18, make it a bit bigger. I'm going to change the line spacing. All right, I'm doing this as well so you can recap on what we did in our previous sessions as well. So line spacing, remember, line spacing is the amount of space that you have in between your sentences, all right, in between your lines. So line spacing is on your home menu on top of paragraph. There's your line spacing there. All right, you can see it's 1, 1.5, 2, 2.53. Let's just change that to 1.5. Okay. So already you can see it makes it a bit easier to read, bigger and more presentable. Another option that I want to change. At this stage, you can see my text is written in blue, all right? But I've got a blue background, blue text, so the text doesn't really stand out. So in your sum, they'll tell you change the text to a certain color. Now, if you want to change the color, you're going to highlight it like we always do. Now I want to show you something on the font color. If you look at my theme that I have here for my font colors, all right, it's all this bluish, greenish colors that I have, all right. This is because you changed it to a certain theme, a certain variant, all right? So if you can remember in the beginning when we did the design, if we left it on the purple design like we had previously, now they tell you in assignment, change your font color to blue, whatever the case might be, all right? If you now go to your font colors, these are different font colors that I had from the blue ones, all right? So now you won't be able to find the correct color that they want you to use in your assignments. So this is where it comes in that it's important that you stick to the correct theme and color that they wanted it to be. So if they tell you to change it to a font, to a variant of blue, green, whatever the case is, it's important that you make it that color. Otherwise, your font colors won't be the same as well. You won't be able to get the color that you want. All right, I'm just going to change it to any green there so you can see how you change your font color and why it's important that you have your design variant and the correct color scheme that they wanted to work on as well. All right, okay. Now coming to the picture as well. Remember in Word, I showed you, as soon as you click on the picture, you get this format menu, right? So that format menu will only come up when you're working with graphical items like pictures, shapes, or anything in that type of thing, all right? So format, here's all your different options there. For your pictures, well, you can change the size there. You can change the picture styles, all right? This now, once again, like I showed you in Word as well, we can change your picture to be displayed in a different option. So you can make it skew, you can make it lie flat, whatever the case, you can make it round. They will tell you in some as well which one you have to use, all right? So just make sure to choose the correct one that they wanted you to use, all right? I'm just going to choose that one, for example, to show just how you can change your picture, all right? This now looks more like a 3D object, all right? So you can play around with your picture to get it looking the way you want it to look as well, all right? Other things you can change on your picture as well is, remember what I showed you, artistic effect. This way you can change it to be black and white or made into pixels, or whatever the case might be, all right? So you can change it to whatever you think is going to work best for your picture, all right? So artistic effects is important when you're working with your picture and your picture styles, all right? Okay, once you get a bit more advanced, if you want to play around, if you can actually remove backgrounds and cut certain things out of the picture as well, simply in PowerPoint, all right? So you don't need anything like Adobe Photoshop, anything, you can do basic editing on pictures from the Microsoft packages itself as well, all right? Okay. So that was now changing your text, your headings, things like that, so it stands out a bit more, all right? And also fiddling with your picture. Now, on slide 4, I've clicked on slide 4 now here at the end. So I've got my heading on top, I've got a few bullets in there. Now I've got this little box here where it says click to add text, all right? This boxes that you see in PowerPoint is called content placeholders. So it's called content placeholders, all right? So content placeholders basically all the little blocks that you can work in PowerPoint. So it's like each little page that you have in PowerPoint to do your different things. So if you wanted to add text, you could have just clicked and started typing and would have put in the text for you. But you also have these icons here in the content placeholder box itself, all right? This now we can actually put in a table, all right? You can insert charts, flow charts. You also have 3D models, then you get pictures, online pictures, insert a video, and there you also have insert an icon, all right? So this is where you can choose what it is you want to do, all right? So let's say I want to just insert a picture in here. You can either just click on the icon there where it says pictures, or you could have gone to your insert menu on top And there you could have set pictures as well. All right, so it works the same like you could do in Word. You can go to your insert menu, pictures. We can simply use the icons, the shortcut icons that they've given you. So I'm just going to click on picture there. All right, here's the picture. My picture isn't there. If your picture's not under the folder where it's at that stage, you can just browse on the left-hand side here. All right, let me just move to the middle here. So you can simply browse to where you know your picture is. All right, mine is on the documents. It's there, and I want to use that picture. So you simply browse to where you want your picture to be, where your picture is, and you can simply just double click on your picture to insert it. All right. You'll see as you're working on PowerPoint, well, depending on what software you have or which version of PowerPoint you'll have these options coming up on your right-hand side here where it says design ideas. So PowerPoint will actually tell you what will look good for what you've got on that page at this stage. All right. You can simply choose from these designs if you wanted to change them. All right. But if you're doing a sum, they don't tell you to use any of these design ideas, don't use them, all right? Please don't think, all right, this is going to look better, I'm going to use that option, or this looks better, I'm going to use it, all right? You will lose marks if you change the designs if it wasn't specified for assignments. So I'm just going to close that because I don't want to change anything in it, all right? Once again, if you're on your picture, you can change your picture style or whatever it is you want to do with your picture itself, all right? I'm not going to go to the pictures again. I already showed you for pictures. You go to the format menu and there you can change all your picture options that you have on the document itself. Okay. All right. Now, let's say I want to insert a new slide. Once again, I'm going to go to the bottom of my slides because I want it to be at the bottom. Now you're going to go to where it says new slides on your home menu. So on home menu, click on new slide. Once again, this is where you can choose what type of layout you want. So you must know what it is you want to put into your document. Do you want to put in a title with a picture? Do you want it to be just a title? Again, do you want it to be two pictures with descriptions on top? Whatever the case, always make sure that you choose the correct layout that you want to work with. They will tell you in the assignments as well which one you have to choose, so you don't have to guess which one's going to work best. They will tell you which one to use, but if you're doing it on your own, just go according to what information you have. I'm just going to choose section header. All right, so this is what a section header slide will look like. It tells you click to add title, there click to add text. I'm just going to type information in there. All right, I'm going to put there visit Fairbanks. Now in this box here, the second box, you'll see it says click to add text. Now this is all in capital letters, as you can see. All right. So another thing that's important when you're doing your EUP assignments, if they give you in your instruction list, hopefully some of you that's done your EUP assignments so far, you've seen when you download your instruction list from the My IT Lab, when they tell you to insert any text, if they have it in a capital letter, you type in a capital letter. If they have that in capital letter, type in a capital letter. If they have in small letters, you type in a small letter. You actually get marked according to what they've given you as well. So if it should be in capital letters, make sure it is in capital letters. It must be small caps, make sure it's in small caps. But in this box, you'll see everything's capital letters. So as soon as I typed, everything will automatically be placed in capital letters itself. So let's just say they with Kodiak West Travel, for example. All right, so see this has all been typed in capital letters automatically. All right, I didn't have an option. That is what the presentation was set to, so it will do it in that way automatically. But now in your instruction sheet, this might not have been in capital letters. Then you have to make sure that you go and change this, that it fits in with what your instructions has shown you. All right, so for example, in my instructions, this would have been every word must be capitalized. So every first letter of every word must be capitalized, not everything. Now you can try and hold in your shift button and press your caps key as much as you want. This is not going to change using those options. This is now for what you're going to use your menus on top. So on your home menu, where you get font, there's a icon there that says change case. So it's a capital A and a small a there next to each other. I hope you can all see this on your screen on top there. There it says change case. All right, if I click on change case, there you can get the way you want it to be. So do you want it to be sentence case, lowercase, uppercase, capitalize each word, or toggle case? So at this stage, everything's in uppercase because everything's capital letters. So if you want it to be a normal sentence, you would have said sentence case. You can see as I hold it over there, it automatically changes on the screen as well. All right, So if I hold it, you can see on the screen, on the sheet itself, it changes. If they want each letter to be capitalized, you're going to use that option which says capitalize each word. Now I can actually see that it changed. All right. So make sure that you pay attention to how they've given your things that they want it to be. If it must be in capital letters, make sure that you put it in capital letters. If it's small letters, put it in small letters. All right. Otherwise, you're going to be losing marks. Okay. Now, another thing that comes up in PowerPoint a lot is as you're working through your presentation, sorry guys, you might realize, all right, that I've put information here in slide 2, but this should have been actually later in my document. I first had to explain this, and I first want to give them introduction, then give them all the facts. So you want to change your slides around or move your slide order, right? This is called changing slide order. So to change your slide order is very easy. All you're going to do, you're going to go to the slide you want to move to wherever. Let's say I want to take slide 3. I've clicked on slide 3, as you can see, all right? So it will show that slide. Let's say I want this slide to be slide number 2. I want it to move to slide number 2. All you do, you're going to go on your left-hand side here at the slides, all right, where it shows all these little icons of each slide, the slide view, all right? Click on the slide, hold in your mouse button once you've clicked on it. Now you can actually move that slide up and down to wherever you want it to be, all right? So you can put it wherever you want it to be. If you want it to be second, so I'm going to put it there in between number 1 and 2. Once you have it the right place, you simply let go of the mouse and it will move it automatically. You'll see green numbers them automatically for you as well. So now it's slide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it does the rearrangement for you. So simply click on the slide, hold in the mouse button, then drag it to where you want it to go. All right, so that's changing your slide order. Okay. So for the rest of PowerPoint, it's basically like working with, as I said. If you want bullets, you're going to put in numbers from your home menu. If you want numbers, you put it in from your home menu as well. All right. I want to get to the things that's a bit more important in PowerPoint according to what you want in your sums, and that is doing transitions and animations. All right. So what transitions and animations are? If you look on your menu on top, get home, insert design, then you get transitions and animations. All right. What transitions is, I'm just going to click on transitions for now. Transitions basically, how will your one slide go from this slide to the next slide? All right. That's, for example, when, let's say you're standing in a bank. When you're standing in the queue at the bank, they always have TV there of all their products running that you can apply for at the bank. Right, then the screen goes all faded out in black, then the next screen comes up with all the information, or it looks like a page that's being turned. That is your transitions, right? So it's how is your slide going to disappear and your next slide going to appear, all right? So it's how does it transition from the one to the next, all right? So how transitions work, you're going to click on whichever slide you want to do transitions on, all right? I'm going to stick to the slide where I'm at this stage. Now on transitions menu there on top, you'll see there's a whole bunch of transitions there. If you click on the drop down, there's more options there, all right? So you get your normal transition, then you get exciting, then you get dynamic content, all right? So here you could have chosen whichever one you think will work best for you, all right? In your sums, I will tell you which one to use as well. I'm just going to use a simple one for now. I'm just going to use this one that says uncover, all right? So as soon as I click on uncover, you'll see on the slide what happened, showed you how it's going to happen, all right? I'm just going to click on anyone again, show you what's going to look like, all right? So as you click on the different ones, you can see how your transition will look, all right? Now each transition also have effect options, different options that you can apply to that transition, right? So next to the transition, they get an option that says effect options. So now you can choose from where do you want this to happen. Do you want it to be from the left, drop, right, top, whatever the case might be. Each transition has different options as well, right? So depending on which one you have, you'll have different options. So at this stage, it's now come from the right. Let's say I want mine to come from the bottom left corner. If you click on that, we'll see how it happens as well. Then as well, what you notice, it happened quite quick. I'm not even sure if some of you guys saw it, all right? This is now we can change the timing of it as well. So on transition as well, they get timing, they get sound, transition, that is set in seconds, all right? So at this stage, set for 1 second. So you can actually make this a bit more, right, to see how long it will take then, all right? So I'm going to make it 2.5 seconds. Now, you can apply different transitions to each slide as well. But if your Sure, you want to use one transition for everything, all right? You don't have to go to each slide and do it for each slide. On your slide view on the left-hand side, where my slides are and the numbers are, you'll see I'm on working slide 2 at this moment. At the bottom of number 2, you'll see there's a little star there, all right? That is sure that slide has now transition applied to it, all right? You can see the others don't have any stars underneath the numbers because we didn't do any transitions or anything on them yet, all right? So if you want it to be the same for all of the slides, once you've done it on one slide, you're happy with how it works, your timing is fine, whatever you want it to be, you can also click there on the option where it says apply to all. As soon as you click on apply to all, you'll see on your slide numbering on the left hand side here, there's a little star next underneath each slide number. So now all the slides will have the same animation, all right? Will have the same transition. So that is your transition that you have at that stage. You can actually use that as well to play it, see what it will look like. All right. So this is what your transition does for you. Okay. So transitioning once again is how you go from one slide to the next slide. So it's how will your page disappear and how will the next one appear. All right. So that's what your transition does. So you can apply transitions to all so that they all look the same, or you can do each one individually if you want different ones on each slide. Okay, I'm not going to do each one individually. It will just take too much time at this stage for the training. All right. Now we get to animation. And this is the fun part of PowerPoint. This is where you can start to be very creative and do all kinds of things in PowerPoint that you might not have thought is possible. All right. So sticking on slide 2. Now how animation works. I'm going to click on the animation menu, all right? At this stage, you can see at the top here at my animation, nothing is usable, all right? It's all just grayed out, all right? For animations to work, you must first click on the item to show what you want animation on. So let's click on my title there, for example, all right, on my heading, all right? As soon as I click on that, you'll see now your animations becomes available, all right? Now you get different types of animations, all right? You get entrance, all right? So that's how you want your thing to appear onto the screen. Or you can have emphasis, so the thing will be on the screen already and you just want to put emphasis on it, all right? Or you can have exit animation, all right? You can apply all three to one item as well, okay? So let's just say I'm on my heading. I want my heading to appear onto the screen. I want it to, I want this to split, all right? And you can see what happened on the screen. Hopefully it didn't go too quick. Once again, once you've chosen your animation, or if you applied animation to it, you'll get a little number on your screen there, all right? Sure, this is your first animation. So you can keep track of what's going to happen in which order, all right? Because you can change the animation order later on in your presentation too. All right, so I'm just going to make that animation a bit longer. All right, I'm changing an animation to 1.5. Now I can go to my text underneath my paragraph of information. I can put, let's say I want to put emphasis on this. I'm going to use one of each so you can see how they will work. All right, I'm going to use the option say spin. If I click on spin, you can actually see on the screen how that text spins around on the screen. And also it gets numbered to show this is now your second animation on this particular slide. All right. You can also apply animations to your pictures. So you can click on your picture as well. Once you're on your picture, you can go to your animations. And for this one, I'm going to use, let's say, exit animation. I'm going to use this a wheel. All right. So it looks like it's being swiped off the screen. Once it did it, you'll see there's your numbering as well. So it's your first animation there, second animation, and third animation. All right. I will go to the presentation view a bit later so you can see how this looks and how it works as well. Okay. So that's your animation. You can also apply sounds into your PowerPoint as well. I'll show you later where you can put in your sounds as well, so you can know how to use this, especially for students. If there's any students doing BBT, that's basic education, all right, to become a teacher. One of their assignments usually is they have to create a video where they recite a poem or something that they will say to children. I'll show you how to create this as well in a bit. All right, so that is your animation. So if you wanted more animation on each object, what you're doing, you've just gone to that animation. You can simply just say add animation. Then you can add more than one animation to a certain object as well. All right. You can add all kinds of different things like triggers. So if something happens, then the animation will happen. If it doesn't, it will just stay. You can also choose how you want your animation to happen. You want it to happen on click, so that's every time you click on your mouse, the animation will take place, or you can be that it is automatically after a certain thing. All right. Okay. All right. Cool. So now, to show you what it will look like, I go to my slideshow menu on top. I go to slideshow. There's an option which says from beginning, from current slide, or present online, or whatever the case. Here you can also do record your slideshow. So this is where you can actually practice your slideshow to work in the timing and everything like that. Okay. You can also use the option which says play narration. So this is where you would have had where you record your own voice and then add it into the presentation so it plays along with each slide as well. So I'm just going to say from beginning, all right? So this is now what your presentation will look like on the screen itself when it's being presented, all right? So that was my first slide. Now if I click on the mouse button or if you press enter, your transition will take place or your animation will take place of what's happening, all right? So if I click, you can see there was that transition where it went up and now it comes to the next slide. So this is now the slide where we did all of our animations, all right? So you can see the heading's missing because we set the heading to be on the entrance. So as soon as I click on the mouse or press enter, there's your animation taking place where the text appears. So that was the first animation. The second animation was this heading, the text that I had at the bottom, all right? So that we set on spin. So if we click on that, now the next animation will take place as well. The last animation was what we did to the picture, all right, where the picture would have disappeared off the screen because it was exit. So if I click on that, the next animation takes place. All right, so that's how your animation takes place. Every time you click, if you place it on click, it will happen every time you click on the mouse or every time you press enter. Every time you press enter, it will then go to the next slide. Now, coming to this slide. If you remember on this slide, we added the speaker notes. So when you're doing your presentation to whoever you're presenting to, you'll see at the bottom, there's no speaker notes there, all right? The speaker notes will only appear on your screen if you're working on a dual screen system, all right? So if you're working on a laptop and a data projector, it will then show on both screens. So if I can perhaps show you on my other screen, I just want to see if I'm able to do this quickly. Just hold on. I'm just going to show my other screen to you guys quickly. So this is now the other side of your presentation, all right? So you can actually see here's your speaker notes here at the bottom. So you actually see the entire slide, all right? And you also see the slide that's going to be coming next. It will show you next slide, the current slide that you're on, and there's your speaker notes that we add. Remember at the bottom we typed that the best time to view the lights will be March and September. So when you're presenting, this is the screen that you will see, all right? Not the audience. So this is your screen, all right? I'm just going to change my screens back so you can see the presentation itself, all right? So the audience will see the presentation, which is the entire slide like this, and you as presenter would have seen the other screen that I've just showed you, which shows you the next slide and your speaker notes, all right? Every time you click, once again, goes to your next slide, and this will keep happening until you get to your last slide. Once you're at your last slide and you click, it will simply give you a blank screen to tell you the presentation is now finished. All right. Then if you click again, it will go back to your presentation itself. Okay. So this is then how your different views will look when you're working in PowerPoint. All right. So it's the presenter view and the audience view if you're doing your presentations itself. All right. So very important when you're doing your PowerPoint is your transitions that will make effect and your animations. Why do you want to have animation? How must it be animated? Must it be an entrance animation? Must it be an exit animation? Must it just emphasize whatever's on the screen? All right. So if I click on this again, I go to animation. There you can see animation 1, animation 2, and animation 3. If you wanted to change it afterwards, well, you can simply go back to it and you'll see there's the options. You could then just change it to a different animation that you want it to be as well. All right. So you can change it again if you were not happy with what you had previously. Okay. So, is there any questions from anybody before I continue? I didn't see any hands during the presentation, during the class yet. Nothing yet. All right. I'll just continue. If I see questions coming, I will get to the questions then. All right. Now, coming to when you save your presentation as well. All right. And this is something you can do in Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, where they'll actually tell you, especially if you're doing other subjects, where you have to submit your assignments on the MyUnisa platform. They always tell you the format must be in a PDF format. All right. So it doesn't matter if you work in Word, Excel, PowerPoint. To save any file to PDF is quite simple. All you're going to do, you're going to go to your File menu on top. There's an option where it says Save As. You can click on Save As. Now you get to the screen where it tells you what you want to save it as. There's the option. You want to save it as a PowerPoint presentation. All right. If you click on that drop-down listed, there's all the options you can save it as. And there's your option to save it as a PDF file then. Okay. If you needed to submit this on the MyUnisa platform. But for EUP purposes, you're not going to save it as a PDF. You're going to submit it as a PowerPoint presentation. But let's say you've done your type presentation, did the timing, you've added all the sounds, whatever you wanted, and you want to save this file to be a video that you can just send somebody to play as a video file, as a little video clip. You can simply save it then as a MP4 file, right? An MPEG-4 video. So you can actually save it as a video file and send it to somebody as a video. So it won't be a presentation more, it will then be an entire video. All right. You can also save it as a PowerPoint presentation, a presentation for the older formats, or you can save it as a PowerPoint show. What a PowerPoint show is basically, instead of opening the file in PowerPoint like it is on here, it will automatically open in the slide view where it runs through the presentation. All right, so that's the only difference between a presentation and a show. All right, so if you wanted to add sounds or music, whatever the case is, the thing that you see a lot is people having a PowerPoint running with their photos, whatever, in their favorite song playing in the background. You can do this by going to your slideshow itself as well. All right. So add insert as well. You can do it from insert as well. So on the insert menu, right at the end, there's the option we can insert a video. We can actually insert audio. Right. So if you have a music file or your own voice that you recorded and you saved it on your computer or whatever the case might be, you can simply insert it by using the audio file. So you can also do the audio as you go along. So you can say audio on my PC or recorder. If you say record audio, it will then put on your mic on your laptop or whatever. And as you talk, it will then record as you're talking as well. So those are the two options that you have for adding audio into your presentation. Okay. On the slideshow as well, I'm going to the slideshow menu. All right. There's a few options there. Like you saw when we did this whole presentation, all right? As soon as we got to the last slide, it went to the blank screen to show this presentation is now done. But let's say you want this slideshow to run on the TV screen or something, to run the whole day as an ad in your company. So you don't want to have thousands of slides in so it can keep running the whole day. You just want us to put this presentation on a loop, basically, so it runs continuously. This you'll do at your slideshow, all right? Slideshow menu, where it says Setup Slideshow. If you go to Setup Slideshow, you'll get this dialog box, and there's a few options you can use there, all right? You can say loop continuously until exit. So that's if you don't want to stop, if you want to go back to slide one once you're at the end, all right? You can choose that option there from there. That is where it is, all right? You can also have it show without your animations. So if you don't want the animations app, you can take it off. You can also take out the narration or the audio that you've added into your thing as well, all right? So this is where you can do your other options as well. So you can have your pen color or your laser pointer as well if you're working with a laser pointer. Okay, so this will be at the slideshow menu and the setup slideshow. Okay. So guys, basically PowerPoint is a very creative program. You can get very creative in it as well, playing around with your animations on each slide. You can have your slideshow if you put in a little car, for example, and you can have your car using animations to drive into your screen, whatever it is you want to do as well. This all just comes down to how creative you want to be and how much you want to play around with your animations on the presentation itself. Okay. So is there any questions from anybody regarding PowerPoint that I've did so far? Anything that you want to ask? Don't see any questions. Okay. All right, guys. For PowerPoint as well, that is basically everything that you need to be able to do for your sound. So once again, very important, I'm just going to go through this quickly again briefly, is how to change your design to the theme that they want, changing your variants, which is ported to whichever color or font effect that they wanted, so that you can have the correct options when you're doing your editing. All right, then your transitions, what transition you want it to apply to all of them. There must be a certain time as well. All right, they will give you all of these instructions in your PowerPoint file as well when you're doing this. All right, then the different layouts, make sure that you choose the correct layout for according to what you're going to be working on. All right, don't just choose any slide and then you're going to struggle to get the things where it should be. Make sure you choose the correct layouts when working in PowerPoint. Okay. For the guys who did the previous sessions for Excel and Word, those videos are on our website already. This video will be online later today as well. So if you want to get to those videos, remember you're going to use our website for the Florida region, all right, which is that one there. And you'll go to the student support material page, get all the videos and training instructions in there as well. You'll also be able on this website to see all the online class taking place for other subjects. I know tomorrow there's class taking place for some law subjects and also for one of the psychology subjects, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So please do check out this website. Make sure that you get all information relevant to your subjects and whatever you need. Okay. So it's important that you use that website to get information. Okay. If there's no questions then, guys, thank you for being with me during the training. I hope you got to get some information. As I said, if you need any help, please email me, all right? Put my email on screen once again. There's my email. Email me and I will answer you as I can and try and help as far as I can, even if we have to do one-on-one sessions via the Teams setup as well, so that you can ask questions as we're doing the training then. Okay. So that was it for today then, guys. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day. Stay safe. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.